Can everybody see, or am I standing in the way? Can you see? Yeah. The Deadly Nightshade, one of the Solanaceae family, and the Latin name is Atropa belladonna. Atropos was one of the three fates of Greek and Roman mythology, whose job it was to cut the thread of life. You can identify it quite easily. Actually, this is not a very good drawing. This drawing is wrong. You can see on this one, this is the best one. The leaves come off in pairs, which it doesn't seem to do on this drawing, but they should come off in pairs. But one of them is dramatically bigger than the other one. So that is the way that you can recognise Deadly Nightshade. Now, a while back, there was a couple out walking on the South Downs, and they saw this and saw the berries and thought, they look rather nice. So they picked them, took them home, I think they put them in the freezer. A few months later, defrosted them and made them into fruit pies.
Lovely.
A few days later, the neighbour noticed them missing, fortunately. Went into the house, and there they were on the floor in a coma. So with their intensive care, where they spent quite a while, but they did recover. Luckily for them, they were found. Deadly Nightshade contains aspartame, hyoscine, and scopolamine. Now, scopolamine is termed the truth drug, and it makes you confuddled and confounded and all disorientated, and you end up telling the truth. And it's used in the interrogation of prisoners. But oddly, horses, cattle, rabbits, sheep, goats and birds, they can all eat it safely, whereas humans, cats and dogs can't. So it acts on the nervous system. And it begins, if you eat this, it begins with dry eyes, dry mouth and skin, and then you lose your voice. There's nausea, vomiting, increased heart rate, muscle weakness, delirium, hallucinations, paralysis, coma, and death. And death is due to respiratory failure. So, not one to make into a fruit pie. It dries the eyes. And it actually temporarily paralyses the eye muscles. So it's perfect for eye surgery. It's also in some sleeping tablets and some sort of cough things and drying up runny noses and all these sorts of things. Also, it's transported to war zones to counteract possible chemical warfare. Not the best picture, it's a bit more open. Datura stramonium, another Solanaceae, and this one is particularly known for its hallucinogenic properties. Particularly dangerous because you are completely convinced that what you're hallucinating is real. Now with most hallucinogenic plants or with morphine or any of these things where you might be hallucinating, there's always a part of your brain that knows that you're hallucinating, that it's not really real. But with Datura, apparently, it's completely, you're convinced that it's real. And it was recorded in the witch trials. Datura, along with Deadly Nightshade and I think aconite, makes up part of the witches' flying ointment. And the witches in the witch trials were convinced that they flew, and they stuck to their stories. So, yeah, very interesting. And of course it was made very popular, very famous by Carlos Castaneda and the teachings of Don Juan. And it was used for astral travel. And so all the teenagers went out and smoked Datura. And lots of stories of teenagers ending up in hospitals. A consultant friend was him and another consultant, they wrote it up for the British Medical Journal about, in West Cornwall Hospital, a bunch of teenagers ending up in hospital having smoked cigarettes and watching the effects that it had on them. And of course that led to all the data retrieved in West Cornwall being chopped down. It's a very useful asthma herb and commonly used in modern herbal medicine. They love solanaceae, nowhere near as toxic as Deadly Nightshade, but I've included it because it grows so profusely around here, certainly in Penwith where I am. There's masses of it, and I think it looks quite dramatic. And then you get these wonderful berries, which I was so tempted to eat these, but didn't. One wouldn't have harmed me, but you'd have to have a lot to really have a toxic effect for these. And it is one that is commonly used as a medicine. The Atropa belladonna, the Deadly Nightshade, is used, not too much, but you can buy it. And for intestinal spasms, it's great. This one is used for a lot of skin problems, eczema, psoriasis, and also for asthma. But it's not a very toxic one. Henbane, another one that I couldn't find growing anywhere, so I had to resort to botanical drawing. I know it grows up north. I've been told people have taken photos of it in Linda's barn, but I've not found it yet. So another of the solanaceae, and like Deadly Nightshade, acts on the nervous system in a very similar sort of way. And henbane. Bane is an old English word meaning death. And the hens were particularly partial to the seeds, and so be careful if it's growing anywhere. The hens will peck and eat the seeds, and they die.
Would they then be poisonous?
Very possibly. Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to eat a hen that has eaten henbane?
No, it is quite common that animals can become poisonous from eating something that kills them.